Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively in a room, all three of us make the Office Blokes.
Indeed we do.
Still trying to get rid of this t-shirt, aren't we?
Yeah,
Still
there. Back.
No, not had anything yet.
Bad smell.
I know, yeah. Carl, if you're out there, we did do a video announcing the winner, but
Why don't we email him?
I've not got an email address.
What did he send his submission in on?
Email.
Might be a clue there.
You've not tried, have you?
Mike's been looking at the emails. I'm blaming Mike. That's a fair point. We could just email Carl. So I didn't even think of that.
Genius.
Yeah. Okay.
Modern technology, eh?
I'll let you two do the intro to this now. I'm out. I've tapped out.
Can you buy an NBA championship? I think. Well,
Championship.
I don't know, what would you? Yeah, I mean, it'd be stocking up with players, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
You'd need all the draft picks to, and top players coming in.
Not sure how would you wangle that though.
You can trade and you can buy
Well, you remember,
draft picks,
Right,
can't
okay.
you? You can
Do you remember
swap with
back in-
other teams.
Back in the 90s, you had the Chicago Bulls. It was like Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan. And there's 3 or 5.
Hmm.
Do you know
What
what
a
I mean?
team, eh?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's probably, I can't remember who the other ones are now off the top of my head, but it was they were the main 3 sort of
Yeah.
that were in there.
So it's still a way of doing that now where you can manipulate it so you can actually buy all the best
Do you remember
players.
when we watched Shaq and he talks about when Charles Barkley always roasts him and says you had Kobe with you and you had
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
like
names that you had with him.
superstars
He
and-
said you had 4 good players and you
Yeah.
taking a piss out of him type thing, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
it's one of them where it's all you got to get the right sort of like squad together, haven't you?
Yeah.
I didn't know whether sometimes it's just luck for these teams where in the pick they got like a player who could have been really good but turned out to be one of the best. And then a couple of years later, the same thing happened, 2 or 3 times maybe.
There's been a few of them, haven't there? But then you want to try and sort of like trade and give them contracts, but then your salary caps that go into it and all that kind of stuff. So
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be an Excel spreadsheet to figure it out.
yeah,
There's gonna be like-
and then
see.
you need the right coach.
yeah.
Of course, suppose the salary cap for each team is there.
Yeah.
So it's up to them to divvy up the wages to right.
But that's where a lot of the trades will come in and things as
Yeah,
well.
of
I
course. So
think.
you have to get some that are a bit cheaper
Yeah.
and right.
Yeah.
I am right in thinking you can sort of swap and trade draft picks, though, can't you? Because I'm sure,
Yeah, you can.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I heard it on an NFL video we reacted to where they said, they traded first round pick next year
for their
for
quarterback.
a certain player.
Yeah, or whatever.
So with the right trades and the right
Yeah.
sort of deals, you could potentially get your pick of
Right.
the
Okay.
sort of draft.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it fluctuates then who wins every year.
Yeah.
We don't do it over here. We've had a cartel for years running sport over here. From everything from cricket to boxing to football to rugby. It's been a cartel running it.
Yeah.
And it's ruined 2 of the big rugby teams now, rugby union teams. 2 of them have gone into administration and gone.
Really?
Yeah,
Two of
it's
the biggest.
incredible.
Worcester Warriors and the Wasps.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Wasps was a massive surprise
Massive,
to me.
yeah, and Worcester Warriors as well, massive team.
And
Yeah.
they're just gone.
Gone.
No one saved them or anything.
Well, believe it or not, a friend of mine's looking to buy the Worcester Warriors.
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. I know there's football clubs that have done that as well, isn't there, where they've been around for 150 years.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
administration, and then
Yeah.
that's it for
Yeah,
them.
it's just mismanagement of funds, isn't it? A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Club proper.
They're on the brink.
Really?
But then you've got Newcastle who are not allowed to spend their money because that's the rules. But you've got Barcelona who's on the brink of going out of business.
They're mortgaging their future, aren't they? On
Yeah.
future,
Yeah.
gambling
Yeah.
on future revenue,
Yeah.
and it's
Could be the end of them.
trouble. It could be. It's a possibility.
Do you think some of them just think they're that much of an institution and there's that many fans that they're beyond impunity? That, like,
Take it for granted.
they can't
That's what
go
they
into
do.
administration. The government will save them or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
But
it
let's
for
say
granted.
this is. I don't know if this is the same what we're referring to.
Yeah.
Might be something
Nothing to
totally
do with it.
It might be an episode of Porn Stars just buying a championship ring
Yeah.
for 13
Yeah.
minutes. Let's do it. Can you buy an NBA championship?
Here are your 2022 NBA champion Golden State Warriors.
Question: can you buy wins in the NBA? If a team spends enough money, will it inevitably lead them to a title? I asked these questions because a couple weeks ago, news broke that the Warriors had signed their up-and-coming star Jordan Poole to a 4-year extension worth $123 million. And then shortly after, it was announced that Andrew Wiggins also agreed to a 4-year extension with the Warriors for $109 million. 2 9-figure deals dished out on the same day by the same team. But neither Poole or Wiggins are the highest paid players on the Warriors. That would be Stephen Curry, who's also the highest paid player in the entire NBA, and then Klay Thompson, and then Draymond Green, and then Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins. Just these 5 players combined will make a mind-boggling $174 million in the 2023-2024 NBA season. For perspective,
Sorry, I was going to talk about the cap then. I'm not sure what the cap is in NBA, even if there is one. I know there's one in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's one in the
okay.
NBA because they normally all follow the same kind of rule in the American sports, don't they?
I would guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
is-
is for 5 players,
I
isn't
was,
it? Jeez.
I was just going to say that's peanuts compared to getting sacked from Twitter. And if you're the CEO and the CFO, COO.
But that's I didn't know Steph Curry was the highest paid in the NBA.
No, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
It's mind-boggling to think, and we've watched videos in the past of players who went broke, and it's like they're probably not earning 40 million a year, but they might be earning 10 million a year, 5 million a year, whatever, and then they're just broke and in trouble after a couple of years.
Bad investments and
Yeah,
bad advice a lot of the time, I suppose.
insane amounts of money we're talking about, isn't it?
Huge.
Fair play to them.
Good though, yeah.
Yeah.
Elite.
when the Warriors assembled arguably the greatest team ever in 2017, the entire team had a payroll of just $101 million. The Warriors are handing out more massive contracts than any other team in NBA history in order to retain their spot as the best team in the league. And so far, it's looking like a great investment. So, I'll ask again, can you buy a championship in the NBA? Well, there's really only one way to find out. Today's video is brought to you by SeatGeek. A new NBA season is upon us. Just look at it.
I think that kind of
Ain't it
answered the
beautiful?
question about.
And with the season underway, SeatGeek is here to get us back in on the action. Check.
I think that's answered my question about the roster. What was it? 12 people on that roster. Then?
Yeah.
yeah. And I was asking last week. You've got 5 starters, but I wonder
Yeah.
how you put on a roster.
Yeah, true.
I don't think anyone answered me, but it was.
There's the answer,
There's
isn't
the
it?
answer. I guess
Yeah.
12. Yeah.
I'm assuming they have more than that in a squad, did they? But is that 12 on the day on the roster? Is that what it means?
Possibly, yeah.
On the right, okay.
Because then you're going to get injuries, aren't you?
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
5 can play.
Yeah.
At one time.
And then they swap it. I don't even know what the rules are about swapping them during the match. About substitutions.
Yeah,
Is it sort of
just
whenever?
come and
Is
go.
it?
Yeah.
Right.
Your first order today. Back in 2010, LeBron James joined the Miami Heat as, unanimously, the best player on the planet. And in his first season with the team, he made $14.5 million from his NBA salary. At the time, this was a nice big contract for the league's premier superstar. But times have changed.
Wow. Making me go cross-eyed looking at it.
yeah.
Yeah, but
102.
wow.
There are
Wow.
102 NBA players who will make more money this season than a prime LeBron James made a decade ago.
It's inflation,
Wow.
cost of living increase.
Of course, yeah.
Not that
I
much,
was going
but
to say.
fuel prices.
Yeah.
Driving to and from the stadium. No, but what you've got there is that goes to show that this is for someone like me who's a massive sports fan. I know you're similar as well.
Yeah.
I know you're a big sports fan, but not like
I'm casual. I'm very much
yeah.
casual.
That shows you how much sport has changed with sponsorships,
Absolutely, hugely.
advertising, and merchandising.
I think just the reach worldwide
Reach,
as well.
yeah, global reach,
global
yeah.
reach.
Mhm.
Absolutely, it's
It's mad.
huge because that's where it's coming from. A
Yeah.
lot of it does come from sponsorship, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Advertisements and stuff
TV
like that.
rights.
TV rights as well. Yeah,
in 10 years, 12 years.
It's
Ridiculous.
where,
Huge amounts, isn't it?
where's it going to be in 10
know.
years' time?
I know. Well, they reckon in soccer, they reckon Erling Haaland's going to be the first £1 billion player.
Wow.
In what sense? So earning or
Signings for a signing.
for signing?
Yeah, they reckon he could be with his age now, where he's at now, the way he's going on transfer fees. They reckon he could be the first £1 billion player if he carries on doing the way he's doing it. He's only 21, remember?
Oh yeah.
Is
But
it?
it's a big jump from the.
Look at 10 years there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? A
No,
house,
no. Yeah, I get that.
Is it a house of cards though?
Could be.
You're talking about clubs going into administration
Yeah,
and things like
could
that.
be.
They can't afford to pay the wages.
Soccer's definitely sort of like very on edge, I'd say.
You think it's
But
at the limits, wouldn't you?
I think basketball, because I mean they're only smallish. When I say small arenas, they're huge arenas, but they're not NBA. They're not NFL size
No.
arenas. You know, they're only 20, 30,000 sort of like people.
You think
in
there'd
an
be a
arena.
restriction to how much they can earn because of that? You know, like say the
But then
crowds
you
are
look
going
at
to be a lot
sponsorship,
less.
and then you look
But-
at stadiums that are being built now, right?
Yeah.
All the corporate hospitality that's going in them.
Mhm.
when we were
That's
kids,
huge.
there was 2 or 3 boxes scattered around the and they were only for directors.
Yeah.
Now you've got 2 floors. Then you've got massive restaurants and bars.
It's just a business on its own, isn't it?
It's a business on
It
its own,
certainly is, and that
correct.
is where the big bucks are.
That's where the big money
without a
is.
doubt.
I'd be interested to see what the increase in ticket prices has been since 2010 as well.
Here's something for you.
Yeah.
Here's something for you that City advertised. And did I tell you? Don't know if I told you. I don't think I did.
Not sure.
Here's one for you. Man City advertised this package you can get now where it's called a signing on. So it's like a player signing experience. So what you do is you get approached by the club, you negotiate your contract, you go down and have a medical, and you spend the day at the ground, like physically, like being what would happen if you were first approached by that.
Yeah.
How much?
It's a very special.
I think it's a 3-day. I think
3
I think
days.
it's 3 days. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it's a 3-day experience.
They've got some clever people at City, haven't they? Coming up with a lot of these ideas.
Yeah.
They
£5
really
grand.
do.
£5,000.
More than that. I'm saying more than that. I'm thinking in the tens, 10, 15.
250,000.
No!
Do you know what my question was? Is that plus VAT or inclusive of VAT? Wow.
I mean,
Jesus.
that's for the mega rich that just want the experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's the birthday present for the man who's got everything. That's
The
that's
experience
exactly what
the
that is.
experience of
isn't
getting
it?
her arse licked all day.
Yeah.
That's what the experience
Well, you
would
can
be
get your
like.
ass licked cheaper than that, mate.
I don't know, mate.
Part of this is due to inflation, but mainly this is due to the fact that the NBA simply generates far more revenue than it
There
did
you go.
back then. But throughout NBA history, teams have been willing to pay an insane amount of money to have a chance at a championship. In Michael Jordan's last season with the Bulls, MJ was paid, quite possibly, the most amount of money relative to his peers in the history of sports. In the 1997-1998 NBA season, Michael Jordan made $33.14 million from his NBA salary. By himself, MJ made more money than the combined team salaries of 19 other NBA teams that season.
Wow.
His contract was so massive that the league implemented a maximum salary rule the following season, which prevented teams from paying the equivalent of an entire roster's payroll to one single player. Even by today's standards, this is a giant one-year salary. But if we adjust for inflation and total revenue driven by the league, Jordan's 1998 salary would be the equivalent of an NBA player making approximately $120 million this season, which makes the contracts of even the highest paid players today look like an absolute bargain. It's insane, I know, but it's true. The man was very valuable, and this massive contract would prove to be well worth the investment. The Bulls needed Michael, and they also knew that having him on their roster was the closest thing to a guaranteed championship. So they paid up and were rewarded for doing so. But in today's NBA, a league that's crowded with talent, 9-figure contracts being handed to players coming off the bench, is it possible to buy your way to a championship? If a team is willing to pay a hefty luxury tax and spend more than market value for the available talent, does that guarantee success? Well, first, let's look at the teams that actually won championships throughout the years and how much they spent on their roster. Last season, the Warriors won the championship, and wouldn't you know it, they had the highest payroll in the entire NBA. In 2021, the Bucks won the championship, and they did not have the highest payroll in the entire NBA. In fact, among all teams that won a championship over the last 30 seasons, only 5 championship teams had the largest payroll in the NBA. When looking at the numbers, there's actually almost no correlation to how much a team is willing to spend and whether they win the championship.
Interesting.
You know what I see on that stands out for me on that with the number one? What's it? 5 of them was they 1, 2,
5,
3,
yeah.
4, 5.
Or 5 times. I think 2 was the Bulls twice, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there's only 5 number ones in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what I can
yeah,
see.
you're right.
So you look at number 1 in the NBA, the Warriors, right? Started the 2022,
Yep.
right? Highest person in the payroll, number 1 payroll in the season, but they've also got Steph Curry, highest paid. I'm assuming the Cavaliers, when they won it in 2016, LeBron James was the highest on the payroll.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then you go down to the Bulls, Michael Jordan, which is just shown us. And then you go to the Lakers, and you've got Kobe and you've got Shaq.
Right.
So
So you got the star
You've got
player.
the star player.
Yeah.
in
The
that season.
highest paid.
Yeah, so rather than the whole roster being ridiculous, you've got the one highest paid player,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that tends to be the correlation that's
So
getting you the championships
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah, but it's not. It's obviously not because they've got payrolls in the other ones. But if you look at, if you go back a little bit, it's 2020. Number 11 payroll. What year did Kobe die?
Yeah.
or retire.
Not sure.
Because I'm sure I think it was before 2020, so he's off the payroll. Shaq's off the payroll. I'm sure they've got players who are just as big on the payroll for the
Yeah.
Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, I think LeBron James played from something like that sort of area time, did he?
Not sure.
Right.
Don't know.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of them have got the number ones that have been number ones. Have all had the big guy in the team.
Yeah.
Star man.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Or not. Sure, teams with some of the cheapest rosters virtually never win, but teams that have some of the most expensive rosters also don't win the majority of the time either. And surprisingly, 8 of the last 30 championship teams had a total team salary that was cheaper than the average team salary in the league at the time. The craziest example of this was back in 1995 when the Rockets won a championship despite having the 4th cheapest payroll in the entire league. Money can buy good players, but it can't prevent injuries, locker room issues, unforeseen circumstances, and it certainly cannot buy a championship. But what about wins? Does spending far more money than other teams equate to winning more games than other teams? Well, last season the Lakers had a team payroll of $164 million. And they won just 33 games. That same season, the Grizzlies won 56 games and had a team payroll of just $117 million. The Lakers spent damn near $50 million more than the Grizzlies just to not even make the playoffs. But this is an extreme example of team payrolls not quite converting to wins. So here's a graph of every NBA team last season with team payroll on the left and total wins on the right. And if you look closely, there's actually a subtle correlation between how much a team spends on their roster in a season and how many wins they pile up. These teams...
They're doing worse, aren't they?
Yeah, look, they won it though last season, 160 million, won it, but they only had 53 wins.
Yeah.
The Golden State Warriors. Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's Golden State Warriors at the top of it. I can't really see very close from here, but it looks like it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But then you look at that cluster, so it looks if you've got a roster anywhere between 120 and 140 million. That's the sort of like area of most, well, yeah, probably more wins in that sort of like little cluster, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much a team spends on their roster in a season and how many wins they pile up. These teams spent less money and won fewer games. These teams spent more money and won more games. But there's no exact science here. For example, the Thunder spent about 45 cents on their roster last season and still won more games than the Rockets, Pistons, and Magic. The Phoenix Suns spent a little bit more than the league average on their roster last season, and they won by far the most games in the regular season. But generally speaking, spending more money does in fact yield more wins for any given team. But far more often, it will not yield a championship. That, however, has not stopped teams from trying. Back in 2005, New York Knicks owner James Dolan went all in and spent a criminal $124 million on the Knicks roster that season. The salary cap at the time was $46 million. So with the roster payroll that dwarfed the league's salary cap, Dolan paid the league a mind-numbing $62.3 million in luxury tax in hopes that his wealth would grant him basketball immortality.
That's just the way around it then.
That's it, you pay tax.
So you just pay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the tax was almost equivalent to how much extra he paid.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it? What did he pay? 120.
124 million.
The cap's like 40.
And the
Cap was
cap's
40,
and
and he
had to pay
paid 60 odd million in tax.
Yeah. So you had to pay more in tax than you did on what the salary cap was.
So he's paying like 90 million or something like that.
Jeez. 100, it's more. So it's like 60, 16 plus.
That was 90-ish, something like
What
that.
did he pay? 120. So yeah, so
120
Yeah.
odd, yeah. Wow. It's crackers, isn't it? And especially if it doesn't translate to wins or championships or anything.
Yeah.
It did not. The Knicks finished the season with just 23 wins and the worst record in the Eastern Conference. Money cannot buy you an NBA championship. But the goal isn't just to spend as much money as possible. The goal is to sign the best, most cohesive players money can buy to your roster, which in its very nature leads to spending more money. For this exact reason, the rookie contract is by far the most valuable deal in the NBA. Last season, players like Darius Garland and Trae Young were all-star caliber talents for the small price equivalent to that of a bench warmer. Thanks to his rookie contract, Luka Doncic was named first-team All-NBA last season, while being the 126th highest-paid player in the NBA, right behind players like Al-Farouq Aminu, Rashawn Holmes, and Jeremy Lamb. In fact, here's a graph of how much every NBA player is paid relative to how much value they give their teams in terms of win shares. It's not perfect, but it does the job. Now, in a perfect world, every player would be paid exactly what they were worth, which, hypothetically, is this line right here. But of course, this is rarely the case. Jonas Valanciunas and Daniel Theis are examples of two players who get paid exactly what they're worth statistically. Their teams are literally and statistically getting what they paid for. Now, most NBA players fall right here. Role players, rookies, young unproven talent, guys like that. Over here are the players who are grossly underpaid, usually rookies stuck on their first contract waiting to cash in once it expires. Here's Trae Young, here's Luka Doncic, and here's Mikal Bridges. These are the contracts owners and GMs dream of. Overall, players below this line would be considered underpaid, and players above this line would be considered overpaid. Despite being the fourth highest paid player in the NBA last season, Russell Westbrook didn't offer much from a winning perspective, which resulted in him landing here. According to the numbers, and injured players aside, the most overpaid players in the league last season were Russell Westbrook, Kemba Walker, and Blake Griffin. Their impact on winning is slightly above that of an average player, but they're all getting paid like they're superstars. But you would never say that Giannis Antetokounmpo is overpaid, and yet he's way up here. Same goes with Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and LeBron James. In fact, most above average NBA players would be considered overpaid relative to the rest of the league, because you're either good enough for ownership to keep you around, which allows you to make demands regarding your contract, or you're just below average, making you completely replaceable, virtually making it impossible to negotiate a decent contract, and you'll just take whatever you can get. There's hardly any middle ground here, and the Warriors are a glaring example of this.
How many shirts are they selling with LeBron? Oh, sorry, James on the back of it, though. You know, it's like performance on the court obviously is huge, and it's the main thing. But as an ambassador for the sport, as an icon, as everything else that goes with it, you're getting your money back.
Oh yeah, it's more. It's not just playing.
I know over here on the English football, the club doesn't get the merchandise, does it?
Don't they?
No, I think it goes to the sponsor. Like, so I think for United, for example, it's Adidas, isn't it? Your sponsor.
Yes.
So they
they're
sell,
the kit makers.
They're the kit makers.
Yeah,
the kit makers, the sponsor.
The kit makers. Yeah, that's what I mean. The kit sponsor. They're like the manufacturer. So the sponsor, or the manufacturer, gets the revenue, or the majority of the revenue, and it's a very high majority.
But they pay to license the merchandise and then sell it.
Well, they'll sell it. United will probably buy it as a club and then sort of like sell it on. So they'll probably buy it, say, I don't know, for figure's sake, £50.
Yeah.
And sell it for £55. So they're only making 1%.
Yeah.
Or 10% or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like it's same with all the kit manufacturers are the ones that get the money. Whereas I'm not sure if that's the same with Nike in the USA with the shirts, because they don't carry any sponsorship on the shirt.
That's right. Yeah.
In things like we'd get money to wear Etihad Airways, like you would with Team Viewer.
Yeah.
You know.
Right, with the but they probably Nike get theirs through manufacture or being Nike, don't they? They probably supply all the kit to the whole NBA, which is their advert throughout the
so
world.
Someone let us know in the comments if the actual team. So would the Lakers get the James shirts?
Yeah, get the money for the sale of it. Yeah,
I mean they're definitely going to make.
For the Lakers, I don't even know if he still plays for the Lakers. I don't know who he plays for now.
They're definitely going to make a percentage, though, aren't they? But what you're talking about is the lion's share.
Yeah, so the lion's share.
If they sell, LeBron sells 10,000 shirts, which I'm sure he sells millions more.
Yeah.
But then they get 5% or something, but it's still going to be worth it for the club to get.
Yeah.
To sell as many.
You get something, but it's not nowhere near as what I'm only talking English soccer. I know about, but I don't know if that's the case with the NBA. Someone will let us know in the comments.
It'd be an interesting one to know that.
Yeah.
There's hardly any middle ground here, and the Warriors are a glaring example of this. Since after re-signing Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, the Warriors' Big Five land here. And this right here perfectly summarizes the financial aspect of the NBA. Kevin Durant did not contribute 3 times as much to the Nets last season as, let's say, DeJounte Murray did to the Spurs last season. And yet, KD made 3 times as much as Murray did. Because when a player reaches a certain level of excellence, there is no formula to how much they're worth. You don't bargain with these players, and you certainly do not let them walk and risk ruining your chances at a title. You simply pay them whatever they want, and you count your blessings. But according to the rules, the Warriors can only pay Steph so much. Thanks to Michael Jordan, his NBA salary has a very finite ceiling, but the rest of the money can go to every other player that helped them win a championship last season. Steph has reached a level in the NBA, and specifically within the Warriors franchise, where he can demand virtually any dollar amount, and it would be completely justifiable. Steph could ask the Warriors for $150 million a year, and if it wasn't for the maximum salary rule, Joe Lacob would be so eager to get him his money, he wouldn't be able to pull out his checkbook fast enough. Similar to what the Bulls did with Michael Jordan in his last few seasons with the team, the Warriors are going all in with Curry. They know that as long as he's in his prime, they have a damn good shot at winning another title. They've got their hands on one of the greatest players of all time and a supporting cast that complements his skill set better than anything they could have imagined. So if it means paying a young Jordan Poole one of the biggest contracts in the entire NBA, paying an aging Draymond Green more money than any other team would offer, and paying Andrew Wiggins exactly what he asked for, it's all worth it. Is any player overpaid if they play a crucial role in winning a championship? It's tough to call anyone overpaid if they were a vital component to winning that banner that hangs in your rafters, and they give your team a legitimate opportunity to hang another one. Because of the maximum salary rule, Steph will never get paid truly what he's worth. But that doesn't mean the Warriors can't spend the money in other places. Now you know you're good when you get paid, but you know you're great when you get other people paid. And because of Steph's impact, his whole squad is laughing to the bank. Because just like every team that came before them, the Warriors cannot buy a championship. But that won't stop them from trying.
Wow.
That's a great video.
Another great video
Big money
on that
involved
channel.
there, isn't there?
Yeah, do you know, it's
numbers.
going back to what I was saying about the shirt sales before, what's coming to my mind as well is someone like Adidas will give United, say, £50 million a season.
Yeah.
But they'll take the revenue from shirt sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? So they won't just do it that just so you can wear an Adidas shirt and they see you with your brand on or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with licensing. So Adidas are basically saying, we'll give you 50 million to license your shirts and we'll manufacture and sell them, and then maybe you get a small cut of the percentage as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you reckon there's been anything in this notion or theory that people like Adidas will give, say, for example, United money to sign a certain player or help them just so they're wearing their brand? Do you think they actually do that?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, not just for United. I mean, any club,
happened.
you know, with
It's
big players.
strange enough, we were with Nike at City. And then Sergio Aguero signs a Puma deal. Next thing, we're Puma. Coincidence or...
Right, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not, but...
No, you absolutely get what you mean.
I think it's definitely...
So I've read about it a lot.
Yeah,
I know
think
such
it's
a team are
happened.
in for this player, and you know, Adidas or Puma or Nike.
But that can't really influence the basketball because they're all Nike, aren't they?
Is the footwear as well?
Footwear, they'll probably have their own sponsorship deal, I'd guess. I know footballers in this country do.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming NBA players definitely will have their own footwear sponsorship deals and merchandise deals with whatever they do, you know. But I'm just wondering if it does go to the franchise or whether it goes all into the NBA as a whole, as a holding company or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, and then it's distributed evenly across the board, across all the teams.
Yeah.
Because there was one team at the bottom of there with the spending. It was, I think he referred to it as saying they spent 25 cents on the team or whatever.
Yeah, it was like 40
cents.
million.
Yeah. It was a team that you can't remember who it was.
I can't remember.
No, I can't remember who it was. No.
But I was going to pick up on it at the time because he made me laugh because he said like he spent like a whole 35 cents and
large dose of sarcasm in
and they didn't win many games. A proper shit, whoever it was. You know.
I think in any sport, you know, at a high level, you can't just buy trophies and championships and things like that for anything, because you can buy the most expensive players in the world, put them all on the court together or on the pitch together. They may not get on.
No.
They may not complement.
It can help.
styles.
Team sports, there's absolutely more to it. I mean, it can certainly help getting the best players, but there's
a team
more
full
to
of
it,
prima donnas.
He referred to that, didn't he? Injuries and locker room sort of like disagreements and all that kind of stuff. When you've got egos like players, some of these have massive egos.
Yeah.
Do you want to sit in a certain place in the changing locker room? Do you want to, you know, they want the showers in where their shower is. They want this in there. They want, you know, certain thing done their own way.
Yeah.
For training, they want it at certain times.
Yeah.
They try and dictate the terms, and you know, some people go, who does he think he is?
Some people don't like it, does it? Yeah, definitely.
So it's you know, it balances itself
You've
out.
got to have a good squad, haven't you? You've got to have a good manager as well. Yeah, absolutely. Huge thing.
The thing with having quite a small squad with a basketball team is if they don't stay with you, the damage they could do on an opposing team playing against you.
Yeah.
That one individual player can have such an impact on a game.
Yeah.
That I suppose you've got to pay, because otherwise they'll be playing against you.
Yeah. Yeah, someone will pick them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
and then they're pissed off at you as well. They've got reason to really bring it when they're on the court.
Squad harmony really brings it alive when with the Steph Curry one, where they've got players getting paid more money than they normally would, but because they gel so well with him
and they're winning,
they pay the money, don't they? You know, even though they're not classed as absolute elite, but you know, if you're winning matches, it don't matter, does it?
Yeah, that Jimmy Highroller was great videos. Very
so well
very
put together.
Interactive sort of thing. You're watching it, you proper glued to it, aren't you?
I got the impression he'd done those graphs himself, by the way. He talked about it, you know, with the
value for money
ratio, because he said it's not perfect, but and just the way he was saying it was almost. And if he's spending the time not only like editing these videos and writing them and doing the voiceovers, but coming up with the actual graphs and stuff as well, that's dedication. That's some hard work.
Absolute fantastic.
Great content.
Yeah, superb.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that too. There's a couple of questions there as well, so don't forget, let us know in the comments the answers to them questions, so we know. Still learning about the NBA.
Yep.
So we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers. Guys.